What's up, everyone? My name's Lionel. I'm your host for LT Productions, and you are watching I Watch You Watch. Today, we are covering Love and Marriage Huntsville. This is season 11, episode 5. I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Like this video. You can also share it, and you can subscribe to my channel and leave your comments below. Let's get into this week's episode. All right, y'all. So I don't think I'll be here too long. Of course, we are back in Huntsville. We already started transitioning back last week. However, now everybody's back. Marcel and Tisha, they start having this conversation. I'm just going to talk on things that I want to talk about in this episode. Tisha ends up bringing up about her talking to, what's her name? Trisha, about DMs. Of course, Marcel is already privy to it because of what Ken tried to tell him. Ken feels like Tisha was being messy. I think that there is some mess in it. I think that Tisha's enjoying that I don't really have to, it's not my story, so good. So let's get the heat off me and let me go over here. But Marcel was like, this don't really look good. Telling Tisha, like, look, how the optics are, it looks like that we're being hypocrites because of so much that you didn't like about the rumors and all that stuff, and now you're saying it. If I go back to when Tisha communicated to Trisha about this, she was letting Trisha know that, hey, what people were saying and to not concentrate on what was going on in social media. But I think that was as far as a response to when people were telling her, Trisha, when Trisha was telling Tisha about what Ken said, that Trisha was sided out with the man that looked just like him and all that stuff. So I think that's why she brought that up, possibly as a way to be on Trisha's side. Well, you know, people saying stuff about him too. I think in that way. However, look, it's hard for me to fully think that Tisha is this very integral at this moment and not wanting some pleasure in someone else having some misery on this show. It's on the table right now, but I'm just like, okay. But basically, Daddy Marceau said that was bad, Tisha. That was bad. And the reason I'm saying Daddy Marceau, because we're going to get into that a little bit later, because I'm like, okay. Next up, Destiny and Trish, they visit with Nell. Destiny updates her on her visit to Detroit and reuniting with her mother and now finally meeting physically with her other brothers and sisters. With the next scene, Destiny goes and visits with Nell. She talks about, just give her an update on what happened in Detroit as far as reuniting with her mother and also finally uniting with her lost brothers and sisters. Trisha updates them that, okay, her and Ken are kind of on better terms right now, and that they are in couples therapy. I think she even said individual therapy, but anyways, she shares about what should I say first? I'll talk about they're back together. But anyways, they discussed about Ken being in the DMs and that Tisha was the one that told him that. Now, since Ken admits to being in the DMs, even though I say that, I think that Tisha gets a kick out of someone else joining the Misery Club and their relationship being in the spotlight, and she could just sit back and allow things to go for it. Yes, I do. Was Tisha really being messy if it was actually true? Because as of yet, no one's really pulled out any solid proof on Marceau. Just saying. Even with that YouTube interview. Okay, that's still your word against him. There's nothing. There's not a credit card bill or nothing. You can't say I was at this hotel. People remember me. Nothing. He bought me dinner. He bought me steak. No, you know, but nothing. You can't say that. So, whatever. Ken, you did admit to being in the DMs. I think that you're downplaying it. You told us that the reason that you were in these DMs is because that you weren't even speaking to your girl, Trish. And you can play the victim like, oh, I was vulnerable or whatever. Something was going on there. And I think because you didn't actually take the temptation You think that you're in the clear, but you're in the DMs looking for something. But anyways, Destiny feels like, oh, that's a little bit messy there. And from Tisha, it can be looked at that way, but I just kind of like, it's a lower percentage of what I think is messy at this point because Ken was doing it. And it's just not this rumor stuff. However, it's always going to look a certain way because of how much you despise when people tell you stuff about your marriage and people attacking it and want to destroy it. So, yeah, Trish and Ken are back together. And now he's talking about having a child. They've been separated for at least 5-6 months, as far as what they're telling us. And then y'all break up. Destiny telling us it's just like a tennis match. Y'all okay. Next minute you break up. Da 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 da. Okay, it's nice that y'all going to therapy, but that's just the first step. Let's not act. You putting the cart before the horse, and now you want a baby. He says that he wants a baby of his own, a child of his own, and that's cool. But it's just like you said, you love those other children that you have adopted. You didn't really adopt them, but you know, you love them as your own. I understand it, but it's just like, yeah. And then they're asking her different questions now, and Destiny was like, well, he said it. But then you also say, Trisha, well, I did want a big family. I want at least 2 more children. Okay. But what type of solid foundation do you have? Nell said, look, I don't think it's a good thing until at least you get divorced and you actually get married. And I still don't know what the holdup is. But at this point, they don't really have to talk about him after the crap that he pulled last year. Now, he apologized to Carlos about what he did and tried to, if y'all know the backstory, maybe another day I'll talk about it. But I think I discussed it in one of my reviews during the front end of the season. But anyways, yeah, so Marcus is gone after the crap that he pulled against Carlos due to a fight that he had with Ken. But that's the short of it. He went on an interview and tried to, but he was excommunicated not because of what he did as far as the interview. It's because of the threats that he made towards Trisha that were incriminating. If you get my drift, physical harm. That was the threats that he sent him through this text, sent her through this text. That's why he's not here. But anyways, it's just like, get divorced, Trisha. And let's see if let's see. They start talking a little bit about Lance. I guess Lance is planning a birthday party. Trisha says that, oh, I got my invite already. And they didn't realize it, and we didn't realize it, that her and Lance have been talking. Like, there's times that we talk a lot, and he vents to me. Okay, what is that about? You know, I mean, people would think that Trisha's the sneaky person. I can't say that. She just don't say everything. But it's just like, oh, so that's what was going on? So you're venting, well, you're allowing another man to vent to you about whatever. You're not speaking to your own man. Who knows what is going through his mind? But anyways, he's also friends with Ken, with Lance. Lance and Ken got some type of friendship, or at least now hanging around the same friend group, maybe just for the show. I don't know. That's a lot. That's a lot. Anyways, we move on to the next scene with Nell, Kayla, and Lance. He's picking out a birthday venue, and we find out that Nell is paying for it. Sometimes I feel sorry for Nell, and then other times I don't. You know your sons are spoiled rotten. You put yourself in these predicaments, and now you're paying for a venue. The only thing I would be paying for if you wanted to is a cake. Get a sheet cake from Costco. Them jokers is good. Or a Publix cake. But Costco is very good. Very good. With buttercream frosting, even though I can't have it. But yeah, in my day, with Costco's, yeah. What, that's what, $30, $40? That's all you should be spending. If you want to give him a gift, but he don't deserve no gift. Like, he owes you. But I know you still want to be a blessing to your son, but at the same point, why are you paying for it? I could go into him a little bit more. So Lance, he claims that he's outside. All this dating and stuff. But he's been seeing this other girl, Kiera, the one that's been around the house, who is really trying to be more familiar with the family. And Nella's like, slow your roll, heifer. Just getting here. Like, you really think that you ain't good with my son, but anyways, it seems like him and Kira are on different wavelengths. He thinks that he can do what he wants as far as just being outside. It's kind of on the same level of him and Destiny. I think that they were just talking a lot. They weren't doing anything and were feeling the feels, but never really put foot to action over there. But him, he's outside. This girl thinks that she's about to lock him down. And it's best to be more straight up front. Like, we can't do this. And look, you can act like you had some type of understanding. And it could be true that you had some type of understanding. But obviously, that's more than what this girl wants. And if she's around your age, within the 30-year range, you know, a lot of people ain't just in this outside mode. And I can understand why you're in your outside mode. You just got out of a marriage. I get it. But I think that at least you got to set things straight with this girl, because that girl is going to get her heart broken. Some of it would be possibly your responsibility, but it's just like, let's just assess where we're at right now. Like, look, I'm outside. You're supposed to be outside too. But anyways, Nell brings up Trisha getting an invite and was really playing it up as far as how Trish was talking, like, ooh, like y'all really kind of close. And Lance was like, it ain't really all that. You know, she got the same formal invite as anyone else did. And then Lance goes on to proceed more about how he's kind of weirded out with Trisha. He had posted some type of photo. And Trisha ended up responding with emojis. 3, was it heart emojis? And then the last one had the tongue sticking out. Now that's a flirty type of emoji. So he didn't know what that meant, and it kind of just weirded him out. He did communicate with Ken about it, but Ken never responded back to him. Now, we'll get into that in just a second. Yeah, so that's basically it in regards to that. The Scots with Ken and Trisha. Tisha apologizes to Ken and Trisha for being messy. And basically, my husband told me that I need to apologize to you. That's pride, lady. That means that you don't really think that you're wrong. And you really didn't think that you were wrong when you were speaking with Marcel earlier. But you're doing it because your husband is telling you to do it. And it's just like you're acting like he's your daddy, and you had to go on and do what daddy said do. I was like, okay. So 2 things was going on. You only did it because your husband told you to do it, and you didn't really want to do it. Like, ugh. So you look dumb right now. All right, so let's move on to the birthday party. Cast invite. Lance and the fellas, they are together, and then, you know, Nell and everyone else is over there. The women are over there. They end up talking about Trisha's post, that he felt it was a little bit cringe. He shows it to them, and he's like, ooh. Of course, Martell loves mess. And he loves to also try to find a way to drag a woman. In some type of way, he got to get his lick in after all the crap that he done did to a woman, his wife, that he committed to. So Ken comes around, and then they start talking about that same response. Of course, I already told you that Ken is aware of it. Now, maybe Ken didn't really respond because he knew what he was doing in the DMs. So I creep, yeah, just creeping in the DMs. He's like, well, I can't really respond to that and try to get on Trisha about this whole situation because I know what I was doing in them DMs. But he ends up telling the guys, which really maybe look at him sideways. You know, sometimes Trisha, she just don't think. How it came off to me, it was very Neanderthal. Like she's just some simple woman that don't have a lot of sense up here. I'm man, and I have all the intelligence. When she's what? I forgot what her career is, but look, it ain't no little bitty job. Like she's a cashier at Family Dollar. Nothing's wrong with that. Nothing's wrong with that. But it's just like she's pretty smart in the brain. But yeah, that just didn't really sit well with me, and it looks like you've gotten really comfortable with these other village idiots on this show, and maybe you're just showing who you really are. Ken, again, I have not really seen it for you since you said that she's a compulsive liar, but you keep signing up for this mess. when she exposed you for who you are. I ain't heard once that Trish took it back or apologized for saying that, because you know that she was telling the truth. And now that you've been exposed to be looking a certain way, I know those tactics. Now you got to make her look worse than what you got going on. I didn't like that. I didn't like that. But y'all can give y'all input on what you thought that whole thing with Ken was. Just didn't sit right with me. Now the women, they're over there doing their thing. Nell brings up the Trisha emoji thing. Of course, all the women are like, what's going on there? Let's see it. Let's see it. So she brings it out, and it was like, oh, yeah, that looked like he was flirting. And she was like, no, I fat fingered it. Basically, when I made the message, I just pushed the emoji that she didn't want to. Now, I don't know what it looks like on your emoji screen, but the flirty emoji thing, and I'm trying to see one more time if I got that right near it. So if she had the heart thing, I don't know if she had the heart eyes or the hearts. There's like 3 hearts going around the face. Well, how mine is, it is adjacent to where the heart thing is. I don't know if you could see it, but mine, heart, whichever one you want, and then you got the tongue down there. So I don't know. Maybe she did that finger it. Some people are like, you meant that. But she said that she didn't even know anything about that until someone started bringing it up. But anyways, it goes back to the guys. They're still talking about the emoji thing. Lance was like, well, somebody brought up, well, that's your cousin. So why is she doing that? He's in a confessional like, yeah, she's supposed to be my cousin. I just don't know why she really did that. She's his cousin through marriage. And that's through Nell's husband. Which Chris is just Lance's stepfather. It's only through marriage, not even blood. And people will still be ill. Who cares? However y'all view it, that's how you view it. But still, technically, even if she was trying to go after him, it still would be okay. The optics won't look good, but it's not like there's any blood between them. Tisha wanted to segue to try to get Nell to start talking, because you know she's still holding on and she needs the Fletchers to go on to say something on this show. So she wanted to find a way to bring up what Nell is going through. So she asked the question, she was talking to the whole women group, how do we show up for one another when they are going through things? You know, Nell, I learned that Chris's license has been suspended, and just wanted to, or is it suspended? It's not suspended. It's the other word when they revoked. That's what it was. That's what it is. She wanted to know how Nell was doing. That was her way to try to be nosy and say, let's put you on Front Street now. But she did it in a way as if she was really caring. But she said, you know, I would have contacted you, but I know that we've been in a rocky place and didn't know how to really approach you with it. I mean, Tisha, if y'all was going to start a new thing, you still can check on someone, even if you don't want to get into their business, even though you do. Like, I don't know how you're expected for anything to shift and move unless somebody made the first step and just at least called and reached out and said, hey, how you doing? Whether you wanted to know the biz or not. So it's a little bit, I think that you know what to do. You just don't want to do it because you really can't stand her. But you're also happy that someone else has to discuss problems on this show. So Nell goes into details of how she feels and how Chris is taking it. She doesn't like it, and the burden is on me and all that. You know, some people would think, well, Nell, your business is booming, right? So you can't really handle things. Your children are grown, but of course they are taking from you, and that's y'all's fault for continuing to let that happen. Either Chris was the breadwinner, or the daycare ain't doing like you, or popping like you think it is. Just saying. But I don't know. But anyways, again, I'm the type of person that kind of feels sorry for Nell, but at the same time, like, and then maybe she doesn't know how to handle all this stuff. She puts too much on her plate. This is not Golden Corral for your life. It's time to get on the keto diet. I don't know, on some type of diet. Less carbs, something, But at this point, it looks like Nell is shifting over from being angry and yelling all the time to now crying all the time. Because she talked about her father and all that too. She's going through stuff that she does not want to really get help for. And it's like, how do you help someone that wants to carry all these burdens on herself? I don't know. But that's all I got for this episode. And I think I actually went longer than I thought I would in the first place. But y'all can give me your thoughts. Is Tisha being messy? Does the optics not look good? Was she really messy, or just really telling the truth of what really Ken was saying, even though she didn't even know it was the truth? She just heard about it. I don't know. Should Lance have paid for his party? Is Trish really trying to flirt with Lance? I think the only reason we're in this type of mode with Trisha because we don't really know if Trisha's the sneaky person or not. At this point, we can't put anything past them. If both of them can play some internet games at whatever level, so let me know your thoughts. But I appreciate everyone for coming. Like, comment, subscribe. And until the next one, peace.